Welcome to episode 3 of the Giants Guys. Can I hear post-draft? The Giants Guys. We're the Giants Guys, those guys, these guys. This is your 2020 edition of the Giants Guys. We are in the post-draft era right now. We have moved past it. We're going to recap it, talk about it, dice it up, shred it up. And as Spiro likes to say, someone's got to take the other side and be the bad guy. It's always me anyway, right? It's always me anyway. So I got Mike B, I got Michael Stewart, I got Jeff, I got Spiro. These are my guys. I am Craig Santucci, your host and antagonist of the Giants Guys. So we're going to jump right into it. Tons of things to cover. Same style. I'll give these guys a minute and 15 to make their point. And their point won't be as good as mine anyway, so don't worry about it. I'm just kidding. All right, so we're going to start off, guys. And everybody's good, right? Everybody's good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
To go.
All right. We're going to start off with, and again, a lot of things to cover. The Giants drafted a ton of guys this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A lot of bodies in camp. There's definitely a theme to this specific draft with offensive tackles, linemen, and linebackers.
And captains.
Yeah. And listen, for the most part, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 people are pretty happy with the draft. I saw a couple draft grades, and they were all B and above. B minus, B plus, A minus. No, it might even have got the best grade we had in a couple of years. So a lot of people are liking the moves. So I'm going to start off with the 800-pound gorilla in the room. In the first round, the Giants at number 4 stayed pat. They did not move back, move forward. Of course, they did not take Simmons, and they take the big tackle, which of course is Thomas. And he's got there's a lot of things to say about the guy, and they're all good. So this segment here is going to be, and we're going to start off, the Giants can start off with basically going right at it. We're going to get knee deep in it. It's rant or rave, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of you guys out. You rant or you rave. You pick the player you want to rant and rave about, okay? So you can start at the top with Thomas. We're going to start with him because we got to start at number 1. We can bop around from there, but we're going to start at 1. And Jeff, I'm going to start with you. I want you to start off with Thomas. And, you give me your rant or you give me your rave.
Just on Thomas, or am I giving a different player after Thomas?
Just give me Thomas for now.
Oh, I love it, man. I'll rave all day about this pick. He was one of the top 4. I think there was kind of a consensus you can't really go wrong, but I understand why the Giants picked this guy. He's a pure left tackle. We're very insecure at that position after what Nate Solder put on the field last year. He's getting paid a ton of money. There are some that want him gone this year. So I love the pick. Andrew Thomas, he's fierce. He's pretty polished. I think he's the most pro-ready. I think if you're Gettleman, it was the safest pick and it was the smartest pick because this guy's a pure left tackle. He's going to step in. He's ready to start. Like he could start tomorrow. This guy's a pure tackle. I don't think we had a buyer or a trade partner to move back and try to get one of the tackles. I think that's ultimately how it unfolded. Maybe it was the digital draft that had some people not acting normal, but I don't think we had a partner. I think he stayed put. He made the safest and smartest pick there, so I like the pick.
All right. How about you, Michael Stewart? Rant or rave?
Oh, rave. Wanted an offensive tackle, got one. I agree with Jeff. There's a reason why Thomas was the choice. He was the most established. The guy was a true freshman, played right tackle for the toughest conference. Then he moved over to the left tackle, and he really played against the best pass rushers in college football and did a great job. I see why he was picked. He was definitely more established left tackle, and that's what he's going to be. He's going to replace Solder. Yeah.
So far, I got a feel it's going to be a clean sweep here. Go ahead, Mikey B. What do we got, rant or rave?
I'm going to rave. I wanted Simmons, but you know what? I think this is a solid pick. I think that a lot of teams go for the sexy, shiny toy and the flashy piece. And unfortunately, that doesn't get it done in January for those teams, right? Like, this guy is solid. He's going to come in. He's going to beef up the line. And to the points you all just made, I think his worst case scenario, this guy's floor is pretty high, right? Like, you're looking at worst case scenario, he's going to come in and be a serviceable starter for at least his rookie contract, right? And that's like worst case scenario. I don't think there's a bust factor here. I think Gettleman needed this safe pick. So although I wanted Simmons, I think there's really nothing you could knock about this guy. He could play right, he could play left. We'll talk about that too a little bit later. But overall, he's gonna be a big part of why the offensive line is a strength this upcoming season.
All right, go ahead, Spiro, Rant or Rave.
I hate to not be the antagonist here, but I really can't. It's hard. Going into it, it was Simmons or the big four tackles. Now, going into this whole draft process, for the most part, all I heard was Thomas was the number one prospect before the combines and everything like that. The combines pushed Wirfs and Wills and and Becton. They pushed everybody up, based on the numbers. But if you're putting the tape on and you're just looking at what's happening on the field, he just got it done every day. Chase on, if you watch the tape versus Chase on, he just dominated him. And the closer you got to the draft again, you started hearing more and more Thomas might be the number one tackle off the board. You have 8 other teams that had him as the number one on their board: Browns, Colts, Dolphins, Chargers, Cardinals, Panthers, everybody in the top. So, you know what? Safest pick, highest floor, can't go wrong. And we finally got a run blocker, a big-time run blocker for Saquon on the edges, and that's where Saquon likes to go. He goes edges. We got ourselves a guy that, as long as he cleans up a little bit of a slip here in his game, he just has a little mental lapse or two. Colombo might get that done for him, get some tenacity in, and we got our starting left tackle for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's really hard to go against, and me, I love to rant. That's kind of my thing. But if I'm going to rant, it's got to be in a good way because, I was kind of, Wirfs and Wills was kind of what I was leaning toward. But as more as, the draft kind of went on, it started to sink in. And the more you started, like, doing some background on the guy, he's very cerebral. The guy is, and I have this, I think I tweeted it out. There's this great YouTube video of him. I'm assuming it's his sister. He's sitting next to his sister during this quarantine, and she's singing. She's got great pipes. She's got a great voice.
Oh, I saw that, dude.
Yep. Okay. And he's playing the piano. Now, listen, I don't know. I know, Jeff, you're a musician. I don't know if any of you guys are musicians on any level, but I'm sure Jeff can chime in here because he plays some guitar. Piano is not only is it maybe outside of violin, piano is one of the hardest disciplines to learn. You don't just pick it up. You don't just hear the note and pick it up. It's a completely different skill set. It's completely using a different side of your brain than football players normally use. To watch him play the piano, it showed me not only a different side of him, but it showed me like he's a thinker, right? He's got his brain's wired a different way. It's not smash and pound or like, what's the Hulk always say? Smash. You know what I mean? Like so I really appreciated the fact that there was more to him than just smash, So I really got a healthy respect for him. And everything just points into good family, good player, smart kid, very well liked in the locker room and can play ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Jeff said, he's the most pro ready. You know what I mean? His technique is good. And if he comes in and he plays right or left, you can't really argue with the pick. I mean, you might like the style of Wirfs or Wills a little bit better, because they're a little bit more raw and maybe you like that. But overall, you can't go wrong with that pick. So I want to keep moving on so we can fly through, the rant or rave. So Mikey B, I'm going to start off with you. Rant or rave, okay? And I'm jumping around because I want to do this a little out of order, so we can throw a little wild card. Rant or rave on Cameron Brown, linebacker from Penn State.
You know what? I'm going to rave here. Who coached him at Penn State? That video, right? So
Spencer.
I really like the fact that Gettleman took a lot of chances later in the draft in the 7th round and brought in a bunch of pass rushers. But I think if you just look from a pure athletic ability, this guy's going to come in and I think he's going to be able to contribute at some level. He's got a little bit of talent, and at that position, I think that for us, we just need some bodies in there and see if we can catch lightning in a bottle to some degree. So I like the pick.
All right, Spiro, what do you think? I mean, you wrote the article, you covered them, you know, so I gave you that draft assignment. It's not like you had a choice. So, you know, and you kind of covered him a little bit. You think you said some good things about him, but this gives you an opportunity to say anything you want. I mean, like you may feel different about it after kind of researching him a bit. What's your thought, Rant or Rave?
Well, you know what? You don't know too much about these prospects, some of these prospects that are picked later in the draft. But I watched Cam Brown, quite a bit because I've seen a couple of Penn State games, and he just got, branches for arms. You know, they're just so long, 36, they're like 35-inch arms. And he just has all those tools that you look for at 6th round. You're picking on tools. So he's got the speed, the length, the height. He's like 6'4", 6'5". This guy has just got everything that you need. He's raw. He's gonna need. He can cover though. He can blitz. Okay. He could do whatever you want, and he plays the run. He's a captain again. Common theme around the whole draft. Good high character kind of guy. This is the kind of guy you want our linebackers coach to get their hands on, and this is where you earn your money. If they can get a 6th-round pick like this to be kind of a Matthias Kiwanuka who did like a little bit of everything and had those long arms on the line of scrimmage, he could be a real weapon. So I'm going to rave, and I'm all about this guy, Cam Brown.
Michael Stewart, Rant or Rave, and ask me this: if you like the pick, can he rush the passer? Can he play outside linebacker? Where do you see him playing? Inside, outside? What do you see?
Oh, I don't see him playing inside. I see him as an outside, and looking at his body, he looks like he could put some size on and maybe get up to 250 plus. So he even may end up being like a dual outside edge player for the Giants, whatever kind of scheme they have. I like him too. He's got great character, and that's what we saw throughout this whole draft for the Giants. A lot of character players with good leadership qualities, and certainly Brown was a captain on this team. So I actually put a tweet this morning mentioning him as a possible starter in a couple of years for this team.
Really? Woo! That's going out on a limb.
I am. That's how I do. That's how I roll.
All right,
I like it.
All right, good. All right, go ahead, Mikey B. What do you think, Rant or Rave? There's no way everyone thinks this is a great pick, is it?
I kicked this off. Jeff's up.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Jeff. Everyone thinks this is a great pick. Okay, I'm all ears, Jeff. Tell me.
All right, so I'll try to take the other side a little bit. He's another guy. He's another guy in the room, and I think one thing that's been clear is Judge has been saying it all along. He wants guys to compete for a job. So he's another guy that's going to have a chance to compete for a job. All of a sudden, we have a ton of linebackers, and I think with a short offseason, it's going to be challenging to have these guys really differentiate themselves and really stand out. So I think guys like Blake Martinez are going to step in and have a starting role because he's an established guy. These rookies are really going to have to impress to get up there and hit the starting lineup. So I don't see him being a starter right now. So I put him in the bucket with a lot of the other linebackers where show me when you're on the field kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like college tape is one thing. He's shown some good things, good character guy. So I understand why they picked him from that aspect, but I'll believe it when I see it on the pro field.
Yeah. So I'm in the Rant side of it, and it's not because of the player. It's that like at some point I wanted to have a body that can rush the passer that was in a mid-round guy. You know what I mean? So it's not about Brown. I actually thought, and Spiro, I think you nailed it. If he could put some weight on, he could be a Kiwi. I was thinking more like Kennard, right? But I think with the long body style, he's definitely more like Kiwi, right? Mathis Kiwanuka. But my issue is at 4, I'm like, look, you could keep stacking these linebackers up, but as Jeff just said, are they really going to be able to stand out with no camp? And you know what I mean? So, like, I was looking for a guy that didn't need to make a difference. He already was the difference. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I was looking at 4. I'm like, okay, just give me a guy that, can set the edge, play the run, and can get after the quarterback when necessary, right? I wasn't looking for another linebacker. You know what I mean? Or I should say, let me rephrase it. I wasn't looking for a linebacker because at 4, you didn't know what the trend was going to be. Okay.
I just let you know it's round 6.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because at 4 I wanted it, and then I thought, okay,
Yeah.
as we get deeper, when's it going to stop? Right? Like at 4 is where I was like, all right, we're going to draft. We need to draft that defensive end. So thank you for correcting me. I didn't mean to keep saying it. But then we got into 6, and we're still stacking these guys. So to me, it's a little bit of a rant on ignoring something that I didn't think should be ignored. Player-wise, I actually think because he's long, and as Michael said, he put on 20 pounds on that frame, and I think you might have a player. You know what I mean? A guy that's just a solid weak side linebacker, or whatever, strong side linebacker, whatever it is. So, all right, so let's try this. Let's bounce around. Jeff. Give me he's actually a guy I kind of like. Give me Carter Coughlin, 7th round linebacker out of Minnesota. Was Rant or Rave?
I mean, it's kind of a similar boat for me. It's another linebacker who's got good tape. Seems like a good character guy. He actually had some pretty good speed and stuff like that, so that was pretty impressive. But he's another guy that's gonna have to prove himself in a short offseason in a crowded room. So I'm lukewarm on it. I'm not ranting. I'm not raving. I'm extremely lukewarm on it. He wasn't, I got a rave for you later in our 4th round pick. But I mean, otherwise, I'm not overly excited about these guys. I did like the film. I like this guy. He's a good addition. But I'm not overexcited. I'm not pissed at the pick. He's another guy that's gonna have a chance to prove himself. I don't have a strong take on this guy either way yet.
Go ahead, Mikey B.
What you're doing here is you're creating competition for a bunch of guys to come in, and who can be the person that's going to stand up above the rest. So you're going to put a bunch of guys in that potential spot. They drafted a slew of them, as we can see, and he's just another one that's going to come in here and compete and let the cream rise to the top. I mean, it's in the draft when you're picking in rounds, call it 5 and beyond. You're ultimately looking for athletes. You're looking for bodies. You're looking at production in college. You're looking at character. So, I'm kind of in the middle, right? Like, we'll see what happens. It's not like I love this individual. It's not like I think he's trash. It's just he's another body to come in here and compete, and we'll see how it turns out.
Go ahead, Michael Stewart.
Again, echoing what they're saying, it's not like this guy was a 2nd round pick that fell to 7, but he's an athlete. He is an athlete. He does have good burst off the edge, more than Brown does.
Yep.
He's a high motor guy. So you're bringing in competition, like Mike B says. You're bringing him in, let him compete. Competition is always good. So it's going to bring out the best in these players when they finally do get on the practice field.
Plus, it's good to have another Coughlin in the building.
Yeah, why not?
Stealing some of my thunder. Go ahead, Spiro.
Well, I love the guy's production at Minnesota. He just got after the quarterback. He's got a great motor. It's hard to get to rant about a 7th round pick. So I'm not going to get pissed. He's got a high football IQ. He was scheduled to go to Ohio State, which is never a bad thing. But he just
all my thunder.
but he decided to stay home with Minnesota. And so
don't you know?
Yeah, the problem is he's 236. 236 as an outside linebacker in the NFL, he's going to get ragdolled by some of these offensive tackles. So unless he puts on a ton of weight, the best I could see him doing is like a pass rush specialist on 3rd down once every a while. But it's hard to get too amped up about Coughlin. I don't hate it. Love the player. Love to see him get a shot. He's essentially, all these 7th round picks are essentially getting a head start in the UDFAs. So that's the way I look at it, and we're giving him a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, you stole pretty much all my thunder.
Sorry, man.
No. It's good. It's good because here's the thing. I'm actually going to rave this for a couple of reasons. One, because his name is Coughlin. All right, and believe it or not, his dad's name is Tom.
It is Tom.
Oh, hey.
I saw that. Yeah.
And there's no relation, but so that's one just for fun. I'm raving about that. But what I'm raving is the two things that I love most in any football player: high IQ, high motor. Those are my two favorite things of all time because those guys are like Rudy. I mean, you know what I mean? Like those guys are going to compete 5 days a week, 7 days a week. And so that, you know, this guy's, the knock on him is like, I think one of you guys mentioned he's a little bit of a tweener. He's a little bit light, so he can't be a full-time pass specialist at the pro level because he's never going to get by an NFL tackle. But either as a in a package, you know what I mean, to bring the guy in and let him rush, a good strength and conditioning program, which the new strength and conditioning coach is out of this world. You guys are going to love him. He's going to put some weight on the kid. But here's the thing. I don't want to overlook. I've always been a big proponent of history, okay? Like when people talk about Johnny Manziel is going to take over the league or RG3 is going to take over the league and it's a throwing league. I'm a big proponent of history. And there's two guys that are major winners for the New York Giants that this guy reminds me of. Two guys, and can anyone at all see the common thread with the two guys that this guy has something in common with? 10, 5,
He's
4,
got like a blue collar mentality.
3,
Chase Blackburn.
2. There's one. What's the other one?
Ooh.
Hey, that was a good call.
Dave Tolleson.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
So here's two guys that everybody counted out, was saying was too good, couldn't play. Now look, Blackburn, the dude just worked, right? The guy worked, he put weight on, he played inside, he played outside. He gave everything he could and earned every single down he was on the field. Tolleson, the dude just never stopped. The guy had a motor like I've never seen. He wasn't supposed to be the number one pass rusher or two, but in a pinch, if someone's hurt, if it's a special package like a NASCAR or something, something about Coughlin reminds me of them. He might be 2 years away from that, but again, a guy that you're not going to be able to get rid of. And guess what? It puts the steroids on the special teams.
Yeah,
you know
he's going to have to earn it through specials for sure.
They all are.
Yeah. Because now you've got Brown and Coughlin, which are two high motor guys. These guys are going to make the special teams better, the linebacker room better. And I'm raving about it just because he's an edge guy that's going to have to find a position, which could be linebacker, not a linebacker that they don't know what to do with. He can go both ways. He can edge if he gets bigger and stronger, but he can always fall back and he can play some linebacker.
Those guys keep the other guys honest too. The guys ahead of them on the depth chart.
100%. So I'm raving it, not as in, and you're right. He could have went to Ohio State. And here's the thing, and we'll move on after that. If he had gone to Ohio State, the guy probably would have went in the 5th round just because he played at Ohio State. He played at Minnesota, right? Is that how you say it? Right? But if he has family members that all went to Minnesota and played sports. He comes from a long line of athletes. But if the guy played at Ohio State, are we really having this conversation? He's probably a 5th round guy, right? Just purely on playing for Ohio State. Rant or rave, Mr. Stewart. Let's go right to, let's see. I'm looking at my list. Let's go with round 3. And let's go with our new offense, our second offensive tackle, Matt Hurt.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be a ranter here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
A little bit, yes.
Love it.
I like the player. I like his potential, but that word potential could be scary. I think a 3rd round pick should be somebody more of a sure thing, especially a team like the Giants who had a 4-win season last year. You want to try to get somebody who's going to be more of an impact player as a rookie, more contributor. I like him. But when you look at what was there behind him, who could they have picked, it didn't look good. That's why the big argument should they moved up in that round, 99. I think that was the big problem there. I think moving up would have been the answer, but maybe they couldn't find a team willing to do that with him.
Can he start, Michael? Mikey B. Can he start? And do you like him?
He can start in 2021. He's not going to start this year, and I think that I do like him. I feel like the long-term plan is for Solder and Thomas to start at tackle, and then in 2021 you have an opportunity to move on from Solder and have this guy come in and be the other starting tackle alongside with Thomas, and then you're set there for the foreseeable future.
You're okay with him coming from UConn? Competition-wise, you're okay?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's not facing the same competition like Thomas is, but yeah, I think that just he put enough on film where like he can play. So,
all right.
Keep in mind, next year's draft is going to be deep in tackles again.
True, good point. And he might not, again, they say he's a little bit of a work in progress. So I don't know. Go ahead, Spiro, give it to me. Rant or rave? Pert.
Two things. Well, this seems like a gentleman special. He loves going mid-round linemen, and he likes finding those gems. He said from the beginning that the offensive tackle class was thick, and this is right down his alley. It's also right down Joe Judge's alley. When he was quoted before, he said, you're always looking for the BPA, and to him that meant long-term upside. So this Matt Pert is long-term upside. He just started playing offensive tackle his senior year in high school. So, he is as raw as it gets. But those 36 or 5/8 arms is what you love to see from an offensive tackle. He can get those arms out on you and gets up in the defensive end's kitchen. He's still a skinny 315 too. So he's got a ton of weight and strength to put on. And that's one of the knocks on him. He's kind of weak and he doesn't have the tenacity. You got a guy like Colombo who was all tenacity when he was, a fiery Italian. He gets his hands on him, puts a little anger into the guy, and I think sky's the limit for him. But like I said, this is a gentleman special. I think this is going to be one of those offensive tackles that is going to lock down the right side, and of course is worried about the coach, developmental guys. But I have faith in Colombo, and that's why I loved him as one of my favorite coaches coming in. He's going to get his hands on him, and we're going to have our starting bookend tackles with Thomas and Pert.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So not going to rave because you don't want a third round project, right? And that's basically what we got. He's not a guy that's going to be a starter right away, barring serious injuries. So, but I'll give you some reasons why you should like him. And I did an article on this guy on our website. He's 6'7". He's got the longest arms of all linemen in the draft, like Spiro was saying. I mean, literally the longest arms. He put on 40 pounds of muscle while at UConn. So he's shown the ability to put on muscle and work, and he's still skinny. So once our training staff gets a hold of this guy, he's going to learn from Colombo. He's going to learn from these guys in front of him. I think he is going to be a long-term starter. I think you're going to like him 2021 and beyond. And if he gets some time this year, it's probably not for a good reason, right? Because if Solder and Thomas are doing their jobs, you're not going to see a whole lot of this guy. But he's 6'7". He has the ability, maybe this year, put on a lot of weight, learn a lot. But he's a natural athlete, former basketball player. So you're getting a high-quality guy. You just don't love the value in the third round since we needed a center, we needed an edge rusher, and now we got a depth move in the third round. So I don't love where we got him, but there are reasons to like him.
Yeah, I'm ranting the whole way.
Quick question. Could they have gotten him?
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm just saying, could they have gotten him at 110? Could they have waited 11 more picks? Could they have? Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know either. None of us know, but I will tell you just flat out, you let 60-something plus guys go by before you drafted this guy, and he's not a day one starter. Your first, second, or third round picks, and I'm not saying this. There was a quote right from Carl Banks. He tweeted out that you have the most highest hopes for 1, 2, and 3 to be locks to start day one, or heavy competition to be starters, right? And you let 60-plus guys go before you drafted this guy. And then you drafted a guy who played at UConn, which, okay, I guess so. But let's look past that. If he can't start at right tackle in day one, what do we do? We let 60-plus guys go. I got a rant. It wasn't the right move. Was not the right move. You
And
needed a guy to play.
It hurts a lot worse that we sat still that long and then got him. You know what
Tell
I
me
mean?
the truth. Did you not want to stick like an ice pick in your eye socket as those 60 players went by? You were
It's
like,
tough. Brutal.
can I play ball too? You're like, put me in the game.
Can I just say
Dude.
one thing though? Like,
Yeah.
I know that this was all tough, but who are we really? So day one starter, yeah. If we were going to be a Super Bowl contending team, I'd say that's a huge thing for us. Personally, I think 2021 is when we're really going to start looking to compete, compete. So I know everybody wants that plug and play guy, but a high upside guy like Kurt, for me is. I know it's not a day one starter, but for me, I'm looking for 2021.
How about this? I got Gates, Fleming, and now Pert. And guess what? I got no center.
Well, that's an issue. That is an issue. And
That's the next question.
All right, let's
Talk about that one.
let's keep moving, and we're gonna jump into the 4th round pick, which I think someone here on the panel has a problem with. The 4th round pick out of UCLA was cornerback Darby Holmes. He's got a pedigree. His dad played in the league too. And I think Mikey B, you covered this guy. This was your article. So Mikey B, why don't you tell me, Rant and Rave, what you think? Because your article seemed like you kind of liked him.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and this is relevant to the dissecting of the part pick that we just went over. You get into trouble when you really reach for a need or a guy that you can come in and listen. If Part doesn't touch the field for 2 years and he comes in and he's a contributing player for 5 years after that, then you know what? I'll take that rather than have a guy come in and try to squeeze a round peg in a square hole at center or a position that we think we need. So in terms of this player, he's feisty, he's aggressive, he fits the scheme of what the defensive backs are across the board for us, which is in your face, press coverage. And I think that a lot of people are going to knock on it because a corner is a very crowded room for us right now, right? Again, other positions were more of a priority, but in the 4th round, if you can just tell me that he was the best player available and that he's going to come in and immediately get some reps on defense, I'd rather take a player that's a little bit better to not force a position of need. We just need athletes. If you remember in 2007, 2008, 2009, we just kept drafting the ends, even though it was a position of strength at the time. And I think that take the athlete, take the best player available. He's a guy that's not afraid to play inside or outside. He's going to get beat by bigger receivers, but he's not going to be expected to cover number one. So I like the player. If you want to pick apart the position that we drafted, I understand, but I still disagree because I think you got to go with the best player available.
Bureau, there's no way you like this pick.
I like the player. I hate the actual pick because, listen, he fills a need at slot. We were getting burned all year last year. You had Grant Haley and Ballantyne getting roasted nonstop.
Better than Haley, Chandler.
Yes, I think
Ballantyne?
he absolutely has better ball skills and he's faster and plays man-to-man way better. And listen, we're trying to build the Patriots model of having a good secondary and allowing our pass rushers to get that extra second to get to the passer. Having said that, like you said before, we needed a center, and we passed on Nick Harris, Baidaz, and Ishmael. I wanted a center there. I know slot was a need, but I feel like we could have got this guy in a 5th round, or maybe traded up to the end of the 5th and got him. That's my biggest issue. I don't think we went after the right position here.
Dude is small. Go ahead, Jeff. What do you got?
He's a slot guy,
In the big picture, all that matters is that you got these guys on your team, right? I absolutely love this kid. I'm going the other way. I love this guy. Every highlight, this kid, he's small, right? He may be a slot corner. I'm telling you, this guy's not going to stay on the bench long. This guy is just different. He's got a motor on him. I was watching highlights. I watched this guy track down a running back in an open field, stripped him at the 5-yard line, and recovered the ball in the end zone. He does not give up. This guy is different. I'm telling you, he's not going to sit on the bench. He's going to be a special teams contributor. He's going to earn his way onto the field, play some slot corner, three wide receiver sets. He's versatile. He doesn't back down from any hit. He's got great instincts. I think the kid's a baller. I think he's an absolute baller, and I don't think he's staying on the bench long.
Smartest defensive player in the draft, too.
He was the number one recruit coming out of high school. He just stayed in hometown. He's a baller.
They said off field, too, he's great with kids, and he's a good locker room guy. And it doesn't hurt when you run a 4.48. So, Michael Stewart, what do you think? Go ahead, Michael Stewart.
Well, after hearing Jeff, and I didn't really follow this guy as much. I know he's a great athlete and he's very aggressive, and we do need a slot, a nickel guy, and he's definitely going to fit that role. I think Haley's in trouble when it comes to the decision time cutting, and I think the biggest question, could we have gotten him later on at 150? I don't know.
No, he would have been there.
He would have been there?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I do like his feistiness, though. I love a corner that's willing to stick his hat in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 9 picks too. Like, he's got ball skills as well. So a lot to like.
Dude, he's small. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He just made it to the NFL. He's a baller. I'm telling you.
He seems Richard Sherman like.
He's like 5'9".
Yeah, he's like 5'9", 5'9" and a quarter.
I got 5'10", 195. He's
this guy
small.
Screams Richard Sherman to me, like the smartest guy in the room, and he got drafted way late. He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Or isn't Richard Sherman like 6'1", 6'2"?
No, in a sense of personality and having that chip on his shoulder and wanting to prove something in the NFL. He's very smart, intellectual, and we'll see.
If they put, because he's feisty and he's not afraid to get in your face. They put like 10 pounds on him. He might be, again, the NFL doesn't let guys hit like they used to, but I always think of like Bob Sanders. Remember Bob Sanders for the Colts? A little dude, man, but he'd put a whooping on you if you came across the middle.
He can only stay healthy.
Yeah.
That was his issue.
100%. All right. So let's see. So we covered Holmes, we covered Brown, and we covered Coughlin. We covered Kurt.
Fifth round.
So it looks like we're going to have, let's see. Do we want to go Brunson or do we want to go McKinney? Let's go Brunson and get it out of the way. Mikey B, give me Brunson.
He's probably not going to get any defensive snaps. Special teams, Joe Judge, that's his thing. Like, whatever. It doesn't do it either way for me. Like, don't matter.
He's a camp body.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead, Jeff. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy in a crowded linebacker room. He's small. He's 6'1", 230 pounds. So he doesn't have the NFL frame yet. But, I mean, he's a 2-time captain. He's another great character guy. He can play special teams. He's a great tackler. I'll give him that. But he's got work to do to be a significant contributor at the next level. He's going to have to step it up big time. But they drafted him for a reason. They didn't draft a finished product. And this is what I said in my article. They drafted him to coach him. And they don't look at him as a starter right now, maybe, but they drafted him for a reason. So not too much to expect from the 238th pick in the draft, but he's a good character guy, 2-time captain. He was voted by his teammates to get a leadership award. So that says something about the kind of guy he is. So that's the kind of guy you're bringing in the locker room.
Judge loves that because he's going to become a great special teams guy.
Exactly. Yep.
Go ahead, Spiro, what you got?
Yeah, don't got a ton to say about him. 6'1" and being a thumper. It's kind of you're 230. It's kind of hard to do in the NFL. If you're going to put him in the middle, I have him as like a B.J. Goodson type of player, but just smaller. Which to me, that's not going to cut it.
How about this, Spiro? Nate Beret.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I don't see him making the team. I just don't. I like too many other linebackers more. And maybe he backs up Blake Martinez until Ryan Conley proves he's 100% healthy. But otherwise, I just can't see it.
Yeah, he's a Hertzlig for me. He's pure special teams type of guy. Michael Stewart, did you go yet?
No. If he's going to make this team, it's going to be on special teams. Judge is a big special teams guy, and I think that was his mindset with these picks in the late rounds. You're not drafting guys in the 7th round thinking they're going to be starters for you. You want depth, and you can win ball games with good special teams. So I think that's his mindset.
Yeah, if you actually look at, the let's see, the 1, the 2, the 3, you got 3 linebackers that can run, that are smart and don't mind hitting you. That makes a great kickoff. That makes it what? A great kickoff team. That makes it
punt returns, all that stuff.
Yeah. And like, we haven't had the depth at linebacker. So I think Spiro, you're gonna get Mayo backing up.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I could be wrong.
No, he signed him for a reason. So yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, if anything, more like Brown, Brown's an outside guy. I don't know who, by the way. Connolly's not going to be ready. We can get into that on another day. But, I'm kind of with all you guys on Brunson. It's basically a guy that doesn't mind sticking his nose in there, and he'll earn his keep on special teams. Let's jump into actually one of my favorite ones, actually, and we didn't even cover it, by the way. I don't think we did. Maybe I dropped the ball somewhere. Or maybe no, Michael. I think you covered Michael Stewart. Tell me about Lemieux, because all the talk is that this could be totally hearsay. I'm ranting about the guy, but I want to hear your take. And is it true that Gettleman called Herbert to ask him how good he was?
That I didn't hear, but I love the pick. I think this kid Lemieux is a hot molly. He's the kind of guy who's going to stick his nose in there, play just rough, tough, in your face football, and that's what they need. They need an attitude. The Giants, they really do. You want to win in the trenches, and finally he's gotten guys who can do that. And if this kid is going to transition to a center, if there's a possibility of that happening, that's even better. There's your center of the future right there.
What do you think, Jeffy? You like it?
I do like it, and that's a great point, right? If you can somehow convert this guy into a center, that's some good attitude there. You got Will Hernandez, you got Zeitler on the other side. Like, now this O-line is starting to make a little bit of sense. So I like this guy. He's just pure guard, right? I think he played guard all 4 years at Oregon, but I mean, he's a stud. He's a mean dude. I like him. I absolutely love the pick, but we're getting depth at a position of weakness. So, I mean, this is a different strategy we took this year. We're loading up on linebackers, loading up on the offensive line. So the Giants have made it clear, and I tweeted it out yesterday. Look at the last 5 years of Eli Manning's career, running for his life. We couldn't do a damn thing playing that way. Danny Jones is going to be protected. They are changing the philosophy. They're adding depth. This is a mean dude. He's a Mog Holly. I love the pick.
Yeah, pick 150 from Oregon. What do you think, Mikey B? You on board here that this guy is like maybe a Rich Seibert, in the make?
Yeah, you hit that on the head. That's a really good call. I think that what they're doing is they're building this program, right? They have a new coaching staff. They have a new regime, and they're stockpiling on these linemen, and they have a plan. I think that the 3rd rounder from UConn slots in once Solder's gone. I think this guy, because Zeitler's like 30, 31, and I know he's still a solid player, but sometimes in their 30s, these linemen kind of fall off a cliff. So, like, I think he could be –
break down.
Yeah, I don't think he's a center. I think he's a true guard, and I think the plan is for him to compete, give depth behind Hernandez and Zeitler, and then in a couple of years, if Zeitler's gone, then he slides right in. I think that's what they're thinking when they're building this system, because these coaches are going to have a chance to put their molds and their fingerprints on these guys and develop them, right? They're going to be in this system over time, so I feel like he's Zeitler's long-term replacement.
All right, Spear, what do you got?
Yeah, well, what Mikey B just said, Zeitler's contract's up. He's on the other side of 30 now. I think this was a 2022 kind of play where he's going to come in via if there's any injuries, and he's going to be the eventual replacement for Zeitler. They're cross-training him at center. In a perfect world, if we had a full off season, I think he would have a legit shot there. But this offseason not happening, that's gonna screw him over at that point. Tough guy. Kind of reminds me of a Richie Incognito without the crazy. He's actually got a good head on his shoulders. He's gonna be a run blocker. That's his real that's the MO. He's going to give toughness up front, and he doesn't miss starts. So best kind of abilities, availability, and he's going to always be there for you.
What I like about him is, anytime you look at an Oregon offense, what do they do well? They pull, they move, they roll. You know what I mean? Like they're not that traditional 3-5-7 drop back, sit in the pocket. They move. It's always a very fluid offense. So he can move. He's probably got great feet for a guard, right? He's strong as hell. And you're right, it could be Zeitler's replacement. And I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know enough about him to know about how athletic he is. But again, playing in an Oregon system, you got to be pretty athletic because it's very fluid. And I'll kind of point this out before we move on is, Hennessy from Temple, who went at a pretty high. I thought that he would fit perfectly with the Giants. He was like the second, third center, slotted to go. He wasn't a center until he got to Temple. Like they converted him. He played all over the line. I don't think it would be a hard transition. I think it's a hard transition with no camp and no OTAs or no rookie camp, no anything. He might be able to get 300, 400, 500 snaps in over a course of a week. And get the rhythm going and the technique down, which I don't think he's going to be afforded. So, yeah, you're right. Might be the wrong time, wrong place to be converting positions, but can't say enough about it. It's a great move. All right, so let's get to the 800-pound girl in the room because, we can listen. Williamson out of Minnesota. If you didn't realize, in case you're looking at the stack. I mean, he drafted both linebackers out of Minnesota. So, Chris Wilkinson picked 247 out of Minnesota, played with Coughlin. You know what I mean? So, there's something there to be said, right? They're both Minnesota guys.
You mean Williams? Oh,
Williamson, yeah.
Coughlin. So, he evidently sees something in these guys, high motor, high intelligence. He wants the defense to be able to think on his feet. What do they say about Blake Martinez? Stanford guy, right? So if you notice, the theme is, yes, it's offensive tackles and it's linebackers, but what's the secondary theme? They're all smart cats, right? They're all thinkers. So I don't know about Williamson. Again, I think Mikey B, you said it the best. Some of these later guys, Williamson, Crowder, right? We don't even need to cover them. They're camp bodies. They're going to be special teams guys. I want to get into it because it's going to take us some time. Let's get into McKinney because all you guys probably love it and you're like, oh, I'm so excited. Okay, and that's just fine. That's just fine. So, Jeff, I'm gonna start with you. Second round pick. We go safety McKinney. Oh, he's better than Simmons. All this stuff. Tell me what you think. I know everybody loves him. I love the player. Again, between 36 and 99, we don't get in a pass rusher. We could have got one at 2. What do you think about McKinney? I know you love him. It's fine.
Because I love everybody. That's why you think.
You're like that. You're a good guy.
I think what it comes down to is we like a lot of the guys we got. We just don't quite love the value and where we got them. But this guy was one of the ones I had my eye on, and this actually kind of reminds me of the Landon Collins pick for a few reasons from years ago. But this guy is going to have a chance to compete and start right away.
Yeah, he can ball.
Right. So I think what you're getting there in terms of value, second round, you're getting a guy who's going to start and make an impact right away. And he just made our whole secondary better and a little bit deeper by picking that guy right there. So I'm good with it. We're in a position where we have so many needs. We've been the worst team in football over the last 3 years. Okay. You earn that. We have the worst record in the NFL over the last 3 years. So you're going to have a lot of different opinions about what you should do with the second and third and fourth round pick because we have needs everywhere. But this was another one, and we filled it. We got him, we got Peppers, and I think the secondary is starting to take some shape here. But I like this guy, and I like the pick.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the player a lot. wanted to be able to get off the field on third down. And it wouldn't matter if it was Espinenza or if it was Matos. I just wanted somebody they could coach up, that's all. So
I hear you.
I took a lot of heat for it. It wasn't about McKinney. The dude could flat out ball, and there's no reason why he's not starter day one with Peppers, with, maybe Love in the slot. We can get into that in a second. Go ahead, Spiro. What do you thought? I'm sure you're going to rant about him, but give me some breakdown.
Well, no, I'm Raven actually. Listen, Nick Saban was going to all the coaches before this draft and saying, draft this guy. You need to get this guy on your team. He's Landon Collins with the ball skills. He could play deep safety. And I'm so sick of watching us get burnt deep with Bethea and all the other crap we put out there in the past couple of years.
Riley,
yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
It just makes me want to puke thinking about the names that we put out there the past 2 years. You need to put someone next to Peppers. Peppers and him will be interchangeable now. They could both blitz. They could both cover tight ends, and this guy covers tight ends well. He could run. The only reason why he fell was because of that 4.6 40, and he had cramps. He ran a 4.5 at his little pro day afterwards. So he's fast on tape. He's going to make plays. We needed someone to lock down and be a quarterback on that back end of the defense, and McKinney is that. The only reason why we didn't trade back, and we probably would have got a pass rusher, was because they loved McKinney so much. So they had conviction there. That when that pick is in sign came up, they sprinted to the phone.
Yeah,
and
right.
That was the fastest pick I've ever seen the Giants make.
The pick was in immediately.
Yeah, and they have an Alabama coach that saw him firsthand on the staff, and I'm sure they got everything they needed to from him as well. So I'm a huge fan of this, and the back end is set now.
Go ahead, Michael Stewart. What do you got?
Again, this kid was a mid-first round projection. He falls to the second early round. You have to take him. He's the best player on the board, and he did fill a need. So that was a no-brainer. The guy plays bigger than his size. He plays faster than when he got timed. He's a football player. Simple as that. He's a football player. And with this pick, like you said, it adds depth because now Love, I got to see what we're going to do with Love. He might be like your rover. He'll move around safety, corner, slot. He'll move all over the place. So this was a great pick, and he makes everybody better in the secondary.
Yeah, you definitely, depending on the defense, you're no longer going to play one safety high anymore.
Yeah.
If you're worried about like when you got third and long, Love and Peppers are really rangy players. So you could take McKinney and patrol him underneath for the first back out of the backfield and the tight end, right?
Yeah.
He's someone to finally cover a tight end.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, you were bringing up Love. So Love becomes like a slot, depending on the defense. Third and long, he becomes the free. Peppers becomes the strong. McKinney goes underneath, plays a little bit more in the box, picks up the first back out of the backfield of the tight end. But in a normal base defense, Love becomes like the slot or the nickel. Mikey B, what are you thinking? I mean, I'm sure everybody, because I said I was really hard on the pick because I wanted that pass rusher at 36. But I'm not hard on the player because, like Michael Stewart just said, guy should have went in the first round. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't fall that way. The kid's a stud. I'm always a proponent on 4 Super Bowls won with pass rushers. We don't have any. So, Mikey B, give me your thoughts on McKinney.
By the third game of the regular season, you're gonna wish you never wanted a pass rusher. This guy could play. It's an A+ pick for a few reasons. I'll keep it short and sweet. Judge knows Saban. Saban raved about this guy. He was a first-round talent. He's versatile. There's nothing on the field he can't do. And I'll tell you what, he's going to make us forget Landon Collins real quick because all of Landon Collins' deficiencies and coverage, this guy is going to that's where he's going to do really well. So,
all right. I'm going to go around the room. All you just say yes or no. Will he have a better season than Simmons? Jeff? Mike, all right, so I'm going to take you as a half and half. Mikey B, better than Simmons?
I'm going to say yes because of the scheme and the players around him.
Michael Stewart, better than Simmons?
It's close. I'm gonna say an edge. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say not the stats, but impact, yes. impact, he's going to have such a monster impact. And just one last thing, Craig. You said pass rush. We're going to have pass rush in all kinds of facets. He brings a pass rush from the safety spot.
Right.
He has more sacks than interceptions in college.
No, I love
I
you.
know he's not going to be a consistent pass rusher, but he could blitz like one of the best from the safety spot. That's
You know
all I'll
I
say.
love you, man. You know I love you, but you're gonna have to sell me harder on that one. But
We'll talk on a couple beers.
yeah, no doubt. Listen, I told you, I love the player, right? I will always struggle when I have to look at Fackrell and what's his name?
Jimenez and Carter.
Leonard Williams. And
But Carter's going to get 11 sacks next year. What's
No,
the
wait.
problem?
wait.
And a half.
And a
Jeff,
half.
Jeff, what's the official number?
It's 11 and a half.
All right, Michael Stewart, you weren't here. Mikey B went on the record that Carter was going to have an 11.5 sacks. And if he does it, Spiro's buying him a case of wine.
Okay, well, what do you have? 4.5 as a rookie? What do you do last year?
4.5 and 4.5.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Mikey B was feeling it that day.
fine, he didn't do 11.5 yet, right? That's it. Listen, hey, anything's possible. That's a bold statement. I don't know.
Listen, we
I'll
all
be happy
clapped for him when he said it. All right, let's keep going. Okay, anybody, any last draft thoughts that we need to get out? We're gonna, we all agree it's a B-rated draft, B+ rated draft, right?
BB plus, yeah.
B+. High upside, high floor on almost everybody. Good value. I got no
Yeah.
complaints.
What I think you guys are you won't recognize it right away. Mid-season, you're gonna recognize how the special teams is just solid. It's not something that jumps out at you in the beginning, but you're just gonna see like tackles, block kicks. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna see stuff that the Giants haven't had in a long time because you got 3 or 4 linebackers that just want to play ball.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, I know we're running long on time, aren't we, Jeffy? We're a little long.
Yeah, we're at like an hour already.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
This might make you happy, Craig. The Giants just with Golden, they signed him to a UFA tender.
Yeah, saw it.
So you know what that means? That means
July 22nd.
What's that?
The deadline's July 22nd.
Right. So they got kind of leverage right now. So if they lose them, they get compensation. If they get them, they'll get them for a lot less.
So since we're going down there, thank you for bringing that up. I'm not 100% certain, but right before we started the show, I was just looking the rules up because I was having a conversation with someone. So you are 100% right about the compensation. However, I'm not 100% sure that the deadline hasn't passed. I saw 2 different things. I saw one, we get compensation. The second one said no. It said that the compensation deadline for 2021 had passed. So I don't know what it is, Michael. So either way, we do have leverage.
Yeah, and then if we do sign him, it's going to be only going to be like 110% of what his last year's salary was. So it's basically about
Still a bargain.